Oh, hello there. Welcome to a special edition of Rock Flag and Hike with your host, Just Sean. And I'm going to tell you a story. Well, you're probably wondering, where have I been for the past week? Well, I've been wondering the same thing. I'm definitely not on trail. Basically, coming out of White Pass, somewhere after that, I caught the big G, Giardia, and boy, that kicked my ass more than anything else that I've ever contracted on or off the trail. It was pretty horrible. Body aches, weakness. I'm pretty happy that I was able to get off trail and where I was, because if I hadn't, it would have been pretty bad. Pretty much after Chinook Pass, the symptoms really amped it up. That night, I stayed at a lake, and while I was able to have somewhat of a meal, that whole night it just felt like there was something tearing through my stomach, having to get up every couple hours to go to the bathroom, which I feel bad for the people around because I tried to get away but couldn't always be very quiet. The next day I felt a little bit better, took some caffeine, some ibuprofen. Really, I thought it was just heat exhaustion or something like that. Obviously, it wasn't. I made it 20 miles that day to Ulrich Cabin. A very nice spot, by the way. I was trying to go 4 miles further, but as I got about a mile and a half away, and I just hit a wall. And I actually wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to make it back to the cabin. But I did, and set up my tent. Didn't eat anything that evening. Luckily, there were the pit toilets. But I was getting pretty weak. The plan was that if I didn't feel better by the morning, I would hitch a ride out. I knew there were a bunch of dirt roads. I could hear people driving by occasionally, so it's like that is what I'm going to have to do. Had I been stuck in the wilderness, I would have had to hit the SOS button. That's how bad things were. But I did get a ride from a gentleman. And that was an adventure on its own, but suffice to say, I was able to make it all the way to. I had to hitch a second ride, but I made it all the way to, little town way, way off the trail, and got a hotel room and stayed there for 2 nights. I didn't eat anything for 2 days. I tried to drink fluids the best I could. It wasn't until the second day there that I was actually able to get to the grocery store, which was only a mile away, and I had to call an Uber to get to because I was too weak to walk. But I was able to get there and get 2 large things of Pedialyte. I bet that the person who checked me out was like, man, that guy sure did party hard last night. But I took those things home, I drank them, and it started to feel a lot better. Still having a lot of major stomach cramps, but overall the symptoms were dissipating. Fortunately, my mom was able to come pick me up from Portland, and that's where I've been for the past week. I've fully recovered now. When I had gotten here, my weight was below 170, which is the danger zone for me. Anything below 170 in my body is pretty much consuming itself in all the worst kind of ways, kind of Donner Party style, you know. So now that I've had a week to just eat and relax, like, I am ready to get back on trail, and I will be on trail at Snoqualmie Pass tomorrow, Saturday. About 250 miles left of the trail, and I am so ready to get this done. That also brings me to my next point, which is I am not attempting the calendar year Triple Crown anymore. Now, if you've talked to me in person, you know that I have said this for a while. I was always pretty sure that I wasn't going to be able to complete all 3 long trails from the very beginning. If you remember, I said I give myself about a 30% chance to be able to do it. But, this hasn't, being able to do all 3 long trails wasn't my main drive for this. The main drive was to see how many miles I could hike, and so far I've exceeded my expectations. Besides with the Giardia part, my body has been doing really well. Combined with this week off and then the time that I lost in the northern section of the AT with the snow, I really think that the weather window, if I were to try for the CDT, is just closed. Like I wouldn't be able to finish it. I'd be able to start it, but I would not be able to finish. And on top of that, I would have to retool my gear, get a new bag, and financially just cannot do that at this point. I guess part of the side effects of the pandemic is that whereas before I thought I was going to be able to have a nice soft cushion and get a job super quick, but that doesn't appear to be the case anymore, so I need a little bit of financial padding to be able to survive until I'm able to piece together jobs and start to make money again, because got to find some way to finance this crazy lifestyle. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop tagging my videos and photos as a calendar year Triple Crown attempt. One of my goals for all of this was that if there's somebody in the future that was looking for someone who had tried on YouTube, that they, I have a record of that now. From what I've been able to tell is that I'm the first person to have a vlog documenting an AT and a PCT attempt in 1 year, which is kind of cool. And I hope that it's educational and informative for people trying to do the same thing in the future. I would like to see more people trying to do an AT and a PCT attempt. I think it's really manageable and very reasonable. This would serve as a good jump off point for people. So what's in store for the future? Well, I still want to do the CDT, which there's a couple options for me next summer. Is that I may do it next summer to complete my Triple Crown. One of the reasons why I didn't want to attempt the CDT this year is because it's 3,100 miles and it's a whole adventure onto itself, and I want to be able to enjoy it. I'm not the type of person I'm not voluntarily going to put myself in a situation where I'm going to stress out about hitting mileage and hitting times and things like that. I'll probably do it next summer. However, I also have an idea, which I mentioned in an earlier video, of possibly attempting to be the first person to yo-yo the Pacific Northwest Trail. Technically, I think it's a really big challenge, but I think that I know how to do it. I have said in the past that I wouldn't want to re-hike trails that I've already hiked. However, a challenge like that, I am totally in for. There are some things that I would like to get in place before attempting something like that. But that is kind of what my crazy ideas are for my future. In terms of what's going to happen in the next couple weeks in this month, I'm going to finish the PCT, get up to Canada, touch that monument, and then I'm going to bolt over. I'm going to finish the AT. I'm going to tag Todden, and then that's it for this series. I will probably do some gear videos that they won't be gear reviews, but I will talk about kind of what worked for me, and what I enjoyed or didn't enjoy about various important pieces of equipment that I have. There's enough gear review videos out there. You don't need me telling you how much it weighs or what it's made out of, but I know in the past when I've looked for people talking about their gear, that I just kind of want to know, like, what are the ins and outs that worked for them or didn't work for them, and knowing full well that what works for me doesn't necessarily work for you, but the more information that you can have, the better. So again, continuing with the main theme of a lot of these videos is just being informative and educational. hopefully being able to make sure that your hike, your adventure, whatever it may be, is as successful as possible, whatever your terms are, and I can help you out a little bit. So that wraps it up for this episode. I am so ready to be out on the trail. I am just itching with energy, which also might be because I just had an nice red eye. But regardless, I cannot wait to finish this trail off. I cannot wait to finish the rest of this, share the rest of these videos with you guys. And again, as usual, I thank you for your support and everything that you've provided me along the way. It's meant a lot. So until next time, keep on blazing.